Our first speaker is Devin Fritz.
Good evening, school board members. My name is Devin Fritz, and I'm a proud student at Jefferson Houston Elementary School. I'm here to talk about why changing my school is the wrong decision for our community. Jefferson Houston isn't just any school. It is the heart of the historic Parker Gray neighborhood. It is a place where kids like me and so many others can potentially walk to school, feel safe, and get the help we need. For families who depend on Title I services, this school isn't just important, it's essential. But now you're talking about taking it away. And I can't help but think about what Charles Hamilton Houston said. The hate and fear engendered by racial prejudice and majority cripple both those who are hated and those who hate. Closing Jefferson Houston feels like that kind of harm. It hurts black kids, immigrant kids, and low-income families the most. It hurts our entire community by erasing a school that brings us all together.
Good evening, school board members. My name is Rowan Palu. Even your own studies say this discussion doesn't make sense. It displaces most families, barely fixes middle schools overcrowding, and creates new overcrowding in elementary schools. So why are you doing this? Why is my school the city's only majority black elementary school? The one that's being closed. It feels like we don't matter, like you're ignoring the very values of equality and diversity that Alexandria is supposed to stand for. If you close my school, it will force families to send their kids far away. It will leave my neighborhood without a community school. It feels like we are going back in time. School board, I'm asking you to think about the harm this will cause, not for me, but for my teachers, my community, and for the next generation. Jefferson Houston is more than just a school. It's a part of who we are. Please don't take it away from us.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Evan Kaczynski.
Hello, my name is Evan Kaczynski from Jefferson Houston Pre-K through 8 school. I am here today to help stop you from turning my school into a middle school. Jefferson Houston, please, I don't want you to turn, Please do not turn my school into a middle school. Jefferson Houston has great students, great staff, and great test scores, and altogether it makes a great school. You are trying to tear that apart from us. Please do not tear it apart from us. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Frank Ferreira.
Boy, I don't think I could even match or come close to these presentations. Good evening, everyone. My name is Frank Ferreira. I'm here this evening. I wanted to address two important topics. But first of all, Madam Chair, nice to meet you. Vice Chair, nice to meet you. Members of the board, Superintendent, long at last, and Madam Clerk, ladies and gentlemen. So I stand before you to talk about these two important issues, as I said. One is, and please forgive me if I'm out of line on this one particular issue, but it is important, and I have shared these remarks with the board members. So I'm asking for a moment of silence for Olivia Ter. Olivia Ter was a wonderful young lady, a student of mine at Lyles Crouch Traditional Academy. She was a tag student. She had a smile that was bigger than the podium that you're sitting at. She had the excitement, the charm. She was going to be an Olympic skater. I have no doubts. Well, that was until she was returning back on that tragic flight that we all know about that happened on the 29th of this month. 67 died along with her. And along with her was her mom, somebody I got to know through the parent-teacher meetings, and I loved immensely as well. So tonight I'm asking you if it's possible, and I sent you a picture of Olivia. If you could project it and share it with the school system, I would greatly appreciate that. If not, that's quite all right. But I want her to be memorialized, and I ask you that you take an extra step. Take into consideration renaming this boardroom after her. I think she was worthy of that, and I want her name to be continuing perpetuity. So that was one issue that I wanted to get across and share with you, and I think we all feel the same about this young lady. Secondly, let me tell you that I loved working in this school system. I was a substitute teacher. I became a long-term substitute teacher. I became an exam proctor, and I loved teaching at all levels in this school system. Are there problems? Absolutely. Did I love getting up every day and meeting these students like Olivia? You're damn right. That's what got me out of bed. It wasn't the money. It was the passion from these students. But yet, I'm also a professional. I worked for Homeland Security for nearly 15 years of my life, and I know what safety and security looks like. I applaud you for the work you've been doing. It's not an easy job, okay? I have never blamed the school system itself.
Thank you for your comments. Your time is up.
Okay, so
All speakers are provided 3 minutes, and your time is up.
Out of respect.
Thank you for your comments. Please step away from the
I
microphone
will.
for the next speaker.
Out of respect.
Our next speaker
I ask
is
the board
Shane
to please read the
Kaczynski.
remarks I submitted for the record.
All
Thank
speakers are provided 3 minutes. Thank you for your comments.
Good evening. Before I begin, I just want to say thank you for your service. I know during this time as a public servant as well, there's a lot of attacks on public service, and it's disheartening. I'm here to talk about Jefferson Houston. First, I want to thank Alexandria Public Schools, and particularly the chair, Dr. Reeve, for coming to Jefferson Houston to talk to us. Thank you. There's a couple of things that were clear to me after that meeting. Number one, ACPS clearly has not put enough effort into finding us a principal. It's February. I tried calling school board members of other districts and other school districts, leaders who I know, to talk to them about this and say, how many schools in your district have not had a principal for the whole year? I couldn't get an answer because they said that's not possible. We need to do better. The answer we got was ACPS checks our website once a month for candidates. And two, we're going to try something new. We are going to come to the Delray Farmers Market. That is not enough. And this board should ask questions why we are at this point. Two, we have different views on what community and family engagement is. During the meeting, we got a chart, which all of you received as well, and I know that because it was called January 10th, 2025 School Board Brief about community engagement. We spent, I think, 10 minutes going over this chart about the level of engagement, talking to us about what engagement we had. There's nothing on here that says, we are going to close your school. What do you think? Here's our plan. What do you think about closing the school? Here's what we're going to do to address your concerns. Nothing. It's all terms on this chart that me, an educated member of this community, does not understand. Three, there is no plan. The parents have come repeatedly to this board to point out deficiencies in what has been proposed, or, I'm sorry, as you all know, decided by this board. But there's no plan. No plan for the community. No plan for the students. No plan for what it means for the greater city. Nothing. The only plan is we're going to close your school. The last point that came clear to me was district leaders care about the district, but they do not care about the community we're in. They don't care about our school. They talk to us about numbers and statistics, but they didn't talk about what matters, our school. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Tracy Dahl.
Good evening. My name is Tracy Dahl. I'm speaking here tonight in my capacity as the current PTA president at Jefferson Houston K-8 school. As Shane just alluded to, the PTA held a meeting last week about the school board's recent vote to eventually convert JH into a middle school, thereby eliminating access to a public elementary school in our neighborhood. A few of you were in attendance at that meeting, but for those who were not, I wanted to share the sentiment in the room that night that JH families were confused, unsettled, and angry about the outcome of that vote, whose timing caught them off guard. Based on a series of presentations about the K-8 analysis, they had been expecting a decision to be made after a public redistricting process. The families had too many questions to be addressed during the PTA meeting, so I pledged to share the rest of the questions with central office, and I've been told they'll be answered as soon as possible. But for the school board's benefit here tonight, I wanted to share that generally, families had questions about the myriad follow-on effects of the vote on our students and staff, including questions about the transition plan, equity, transportation, and teacher retention, as well as the actual capacity effects of the decision district-wide, the cost to taxpayers, and how the vote addresses the immediate need for more middle school capacity in our city. As this new school board begins to work together, we ask that JH and all Alexandria families be brought along in your decisions and that you take advantage of parent communities who want to help create the best outcome for as many district students as possible. Separately, some of our parents have asked for ACPS to communicate how everyone is preparing for a potential loss of Title I funding, given what's going on at the federal level. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Sue Fritz.
It's ironic that my children left the room when I was going. Good evening, board members. My name is Sue Fritz, and I'm here today to speak out against the proposal that will not only dismantle our community, but also hurt our children and burden our city's finances with a fiscally reckless plan. Jefferson Houston Elementary isn't merely a building, it's the beating heart of the historic Parker Gray community. As the city's majority black elementary school, it serves as a vital institution for low-income and immigrant families by providing Title I services. This neighborhood school is a safe and walkable space where our children thrive, building lasting relationships and receive the support they desperately need. Yet the current proposal to close Jefferson Houston is profoundly flawed. Not only does it disregard the deep-rooted community ties that have made this school a beacon of hope, but it's also a plan that makes a little sense from a fiscal perspective. The district's own analysis shows that this option displaces the most families, does little to relieve middle school overcrowding, and ultimately shifts the problem, creating overcrowding issues in elementary schools elsewhere. In other words, this is a fiscally reckless plan that will waste tax dollars without delivering any real benefit to our education system. What makes this situation even more troubling is the lack of transparent communication with our community. In September, the community was led to believe that after spending tax money on the K-8 analysis, there would be no recommendation made to the school board at that time. Instead, the issue was to be revisited during the boundary analysis with genuine community involvement. Yet, we're here today facing a decision that seems to have sidestepped that promise, undermining trust and excluding the very people most affected by this proposal. Members of the board, this proposal is a bad plan that is fiscally unsound. It's a plan that dismantles community bonds and hurts our children by stripping away the safe, nurturing environment that Jefferson Houston provides. I implore you to reconsider this proposal, to honor the promise of community involvement, and to protect the legacy and future of our neighborhood school. Thank you for your time and for your consideration, the very real consequence of this decision.